Hello everybody, it's Jenny from Inky Paws Art here. Today I'm doing a scrapbook page that has a lot of white space. Now I don't mean literal white space, I mean space that isn't covered by another embellishment or anything like that. So I've taken this wood grain paper and I have cut off the branding strip. I've already cut out these little hearts. They were all on one sheet of paper. They were on a sheet by Vicki Boutin, and I've just fussy cut them out. I did that off camera mainly because I hate fussy cutting at the best of times, but it's a really effective way to use paper, especially those with small designs on it. So all of these little hearts I'm going to use as a frame. I've done something similar recently with circles and just used circle punches, but in this case I'm using hearts. I'm trying to not have two of the same colour together if I can help it, but I'm not too fussed if I don't, or even if I do. I'm overlapping them, I'm not making any one the priority, and it really is just a random mash of hearts and just getting them stuck down. So what this is going to do is create a frame, highlight the photo, and still leave me with a lot of white space around it, but there is a lot going on the page, so it doesn't look too bland. I'm going to overlap some of the hearts with the photo, so it doesn't look like I've just chucked the photo on the top of everything. It makes it seem as though a bit more thought has gone into things than has actually gone into things. So just going to keep going around with these little fussy cut hearts and build up that frame. I haven't got a preference as to having more here or more there of these hearts, but I do seem to have gathered a few more up towards the top of the page than towards the bottom, but that's okay, it doesn't really matter. Now, as I'm doing this, I've got a few ideas floating around in my mind for a title. There's quite a few ideas I had for this actually, but we'll come on to that in a bit once I have finished this frame and done a couple of other bits. Now the nice thing with frames like this, you don't need to add huge amounts of embellishments because you've already got a lot of colour on the page, a lot of embellishment going on. What I am going to do, however, because I do want to add something else, not necessarily lots, but something else, I've got these star sequins that I have had for years, and I really love they're wood grain and they're white. I have that mixture, but I don't want to use the wood grain for this. I'm just going to use the white and I'm going to dot them in and around the heart. So just sliding them in. I'm using a wet glue to adhere them to the page because it's much easier than trying to use glue dots or a tape runner on sequins. It's just my experience of them. I prefer a wet glue. So again, like I did with the hearts, just going around scattering these randomly. There's no precision to it. They're just getting stuck down. That's all it is. And I'm going to keep going until I run out of these sequins because I've had them for so long in my stash. I'm now want to use it or lose it with them. They've just sat there, they've done nothing. So they either go on a page or they get donated to somewhere else or they go out. So that's how I work with most of my supplies. There comes a point where it is use it or lose it time, and that's where we are with these particular sequins. So I have a lot of them, and just getting onto the page takes a little bit of time, but you can see there is no precision here. There is no, oh my goodness, it's got to be 3 inches to the left, or should I have another 4 inches to the right? But what I have done is created a slightly diagonal line from the top left to the middle right, like the bottom middle of the page. It's not intentional, I just think it visually looks good, and that's how it worked out. I'm going to run through my letter stickers to see if I've got something that works. I feel like I need something light because these colours are so bright in the hearts. Something light will help to lift the page forward a bit and not merge in or muddy those bright colours. So eventually I came across a set of letter stickers that are rather old, and I am running out of them rather dramatically. So you'll see this in a minute as I try out different letters, because I always try out different letters to see whether they're going to work, different fonts, different colours. sometimes they do work and sometimes I stick with them, other times they don't. But in this case, none of the ones I originally trialled worked. So I went for newer sets, old sets, started trying them here and there, and finally settled on this pink set that has a kind of woven effect to it. So they are the ones I've decided to use. I decided to just have a simple title for this, and I've just called it Snooze. Apart from anything, one, I don't have a lot of this font left. Secondly, I don't have many vowels. I've got some O's and I have some U's. But I don't have E's, A's, I might have an I in there, but that's about it. So with Snooze, I can use the number 3, and I've turned that back to front, and that's created the E. I can also use a couple of the stars, a couple of the asterisks, just to add a bit of interest to the page and a little bit of extra colour there. I can just move those about until I am happy with them, but in the end I kept the title to the bottom of the page because really that's where it worked. I haven't got a lot of pink down that end of the page, so pulling that pink title down helps draw everything together and balance the amount of pink that's at the top of the page and in other areas. So there's not a huge amount going on this page, but it does look like a lot's gone into it, like a lot of thought has gone through. And as I'm playing around with the title until I finally get myself happy with it, I do move things around a lot more than many people. Once it's stuck down, I will play around a bit further. I'm going to add a little splash of mist in the top and bottom corners, just helps to pull things together a bit. Add some more of the white to the page because I've got the white from those sequins, but I haven't got white anywhere else, so this mist is just going to add it. I've covered up the photo to make sure that that stays intact. So that's all there really is to it. It's a really simple page and there's a lot of white space. I've used minimal products for this. Like I say, it's really straightforward. I'd love to see how this page has inspired you. Leave me a comment, like the video, share it with your friends, and I will see you soon. Take care.